1 in 8 drivers on Illinois roads right now has no car insurance. If one of them just hit you, then the coverage you need to pay your medical bills and your lost wages is almost certainly sitting in your own policy, and your insurance company is hoping that you don't know how to use it. Hi, I'm Jason Marker, a car accident attorney here in Illinois who's spent the last 25 years helping injured people unlock coverages that they've already paid for. Underinsured motorist coverage exists specifically for this situation. Illinois law requires it in every auto policy, but most people have no idea how it works, what it covers, or why their own insurance might even fight them as hard as any other insurance company would. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what uninsured motorist coverage covers in Illinois, how to file a claim, and the critical mistakes that can cost you the protection before your claim even starts. Under 215 ILCS 5/143A, auto insurance policies issued in Illinois must include uninsured motorist coverage for bodily injury. This is not optional, and it's not something that you have to add separately. It's built into your policy by law. The state minimum in Illinois is $25,000 per person and $50,000 per accident, which mirrors the maximum liability coverage in Illinois requires every driver to carry. Here is the core concept. When the driver that caused your accident has no insurance, then your uninsured motorist coverage, what we call coverage, steps into the position their insurance should have occupied. You file a claim with your own insurer, and your policy pays for your medical bills, your lost wages, your pain and suffering, and your other damages up to your coverage limits. You are not suing the uninsured driver. You're making a first-party claim against coverage you already have purchased. coverage also applies to hit-and-run accidents where the at-fault driver flees and can't be identified. If a vehicle makes contact with yours and your driver disappears, then your uninsured motorist claim is the path to compensation. Illinois law specifically includes phantom vehicles, cases where a driver forces you off the road without physical contact, though the requirements for those claims can be more complex. Illinois coverage pays for bodily injury damages, medical expenses, lost wages, pain and suffering, and other personal injury losses caused by the uninsured driver. It does not automatically cover property damage to your vehicle. For that, you need either uninsured motorist property damage coverage, which is an optional add-on, or collision coverage under your own policy. If you have collision coverage, that is typically the fastest and most practical route to getting your car repaired. Your policy limits control the maximums that you can recover. If you carry the state minimum of $25,000 and your medical bills exceed that, then you cannot go back to the uninsured driver for the difference, not in any practical sense. Most uninsured drivers have no significant assets to collect against, which is exactly why they have no insurance in the first place. This is one of the strongest arguments for carrying limits well above the state minimum. Many experienced Illinois personal injury attorneys, like myself, recommend limits of $100,000 per person or higher. The main reason is because nowadays, one visit to the emergency room could cost you well over $25,000, the state minimum. One thing that surprises many people is your policy can stack across multiple policies in certain situations. If you're covered under more than one policy, your own policy and a household family member's policy, for example, Illinois law may allow you to combine those limits. This is a fact-specific analysis that varies depending on policy language, and it's one of the first things that claim attorneys will examine when they get your case. This is the part that most people don't expect. When you file a claim, you're filing against your own insurance company. And your insurance company, despite being your insurer, is still a business with a financial interest in paying you as little as possible. Their adjuster is evaluating your claim with the same goal as any other adjuster, to minimize your payout. They may question whether the other driver was actually uninsured. They may dispute the severity of your injuries or even challenge whether they were caused by the accident or not. They may offer a lowball settlement early, counting on you not knowing what your claim is actually worth. In Illinois, if you or your insurer cannot agree on the value of a claim, the dispute typically goes to arbitration rather than any kind of jury trial, a process that has its own rules, timelines, strategic considerations, etc. The fact that you've been a loyal customer who's paid premiums for years does not change this dynamic. Insurance companies do not track the loyalty when they're adjusting claims. What moves them is evidence, the police report, your medical records, documentation of your lost wages, and an attorney who knows the arbitration process well enough to make paying you the easier outcome. The first and most important step is confirming the other driver's insurance status. In Illinois, the at-fault driver's insurance information should appear on the police crash report. If you have reason to believe that they are uninsured, contact the Illinois Department of Transportation, which can certainly verify whether a driver is reported as uninsured. Do not assume, get written confirmation because your claim will require proof that no coverage existed. Notify your own insurance company of the accident immediately. Check your policy requirements. Failing to report promptly can be used as a basis to delay or deny your claim. This is the same reporting obligation discussed in earlier videos in this series. It protects your access to coverage, including your uninsured motorist benefits. Gather and preserve all evidence from the crash. Photographs of the vehicle damage at the scene, witness contact information, your medical records from every provider you see, and documentation every day of the work that you miss. In a claim, your insurance has access to all of this, but the strength of your evidence still dictates and affects the settlement value that they will put on your case. Finally, be aware of your policy's arbitration deadline. Most Illinois policies require you to file a demand for arbitration within a specific period of time, often 2 years from the date of the accident, but this varies by policy. Missing that deadline can extinguish your claim entirely, regardless of how strong your case is. Review your policy or contact an attorney well before any deadline. A claim is not the same as a straightforward insurance claim after a minor fender bender. It is a first-party claim against your own insurer over a disputed value, and it ends in the arbitration if parties can't agree. This is a legal proceeding with real consequences for the outcome of your case. If your injuries are serious, if your insured is disputing liability on the value of your damages, or if you're approaching any policy deadline without a resolution, those are the clearest signals that you need an attorney. The complexity of Illinois uninsured motorist claims, stacking questions, arbitration procedures, evidence requirements, rewards people who have professional guidance. Adjusters on the other sides of your claim have handled hundreds of these. The playing field in these cases is not level unless you have someone in your corner too. Now you understand how uninsured motorist coverage works in Illinois and why your own insurance company is not automatically on your side when you file that claim. But what happens when the driver who hit you had insurance, just not enough of it? That situation has its own coverage, its own traps, and one specific mistake that can permanently end your ability to collect. My next video covers exactly that. It's called What to Do When the At-Fault Driver Doesn't Have Enough Insurance in Illinois. And if your injuries are serious, that video could change the outcome of your case. Watch it next. We'll see you over there.